A 12 years old girl and a contestant on a Brazilian version of MasterChef Junior was victim of abusive comments in social media, especially Twitter, after her first appearance in October of last year. The incident sparked various discussions in Brazil, especially about harassment and assault. After the online comments, the hashtag Primeiro Assédio, first harassment, was one of the trending topics on Twitter and Facebook in the country. But if the harassment debate is already an important issue to be discussed, in fact, this is just a part of a big issue present in society and consequently disclosed in popular culture. Based on this example, I'd like to introduce the concept of discourse, present what does it mean and how it works in society, involve Michel Foucault and his comment about discourse and relationship with power. Assuming this concept, I will present the relationship of discourse in this case. My name is Paola and this is the vlog about discourse. So, what does discourse mean? According to Michel Foucault, French postmodernism philosopher and author of books such as The Archaeology of Knowledge, Discipline and Punish, and The Story of Sexuality, discourse is a practice that forms the object of which they speak, a system of thoughts composed of ideas, attitudes, courses of action, beliefs, and practices that systematically construct the subjects in the world of which they speak. Foucault argued that society legitimate concepts based on how some of these discourses are shaped and created. Discourse is related to the way the things are assigned in the world, and this is related to power. Power forms reality. It does not mean exactly just what, but when, who, where. Foucault would say that something does not necessarily need to be true, but it could be sold as truth, establish something as true. Using as example sexuality and society, Foucault would say that all the different discourse on sexuality does not mean that this is about, but in fact they are building the concept of sexuality, or the repression or the generalization, a produce knowledge about the theme, a constructor of power over the theme. How this leads to example I presented in the beginning. Valentina Schulz had 12 years old when she was the victim of pervert comments on internet. After the Twitter's hashtag was created by a group of Brazilian feminists, Think Olga, and women are encouraged to relate the case, and it was impressive. A huge number of women talk about the first harassment was shocking, not just because of the number of women, but the discussing case and especially the age. The point is, it has so many pedophiles in our society and we can just not see, or this is just more complex than we thought. Actually, some feminists claim that we are living in a rape culture. And this could be even more problematic when we observe that it begins in childhood. So, is this related to discuss? Let's think in a patriarchal society, a male dominance, and a construction of a society which women are inferior to men. Let's consider as well that children are being constructed based on values that our society produces. And let's believe that we live in a society selling sexuality in different forms. So, maybe what happened with Valentina and all the girls and women who related their experience is not an isolated case. Maybe it's just an example of what's the consequence of a discourse our society are producing, which women be judged, humiliated, ashamed, and worse, suffer any kind of violence, no matter what color, country birth, or age.